Hey guys, what's going on? Troll Pal CHH here, and today we're looking at a new second sight release that I'm really excited about. Today we've got the You're Next second sight limited edition release, and this one's really cool. I was really excited when this got announced. This was a movie that I saw. It's very dark, but you could see the three masks there on the back. This was a movie that I saw basically right when it came. I want to say I saw the trailer for this movie in Texas Chainsaw 3D. I know I saw a trailer for the movie somewhere in the theater, and it got me hyped. I really think it was Texas Chainsaw 3D because that came out in January, and I want to say this film came out later that year. I could be totally off. I could have it backwards. I could have saw this in the theater, and the trailer for Texas Chainsaw 3D was in that. But regardless of that, let me tell you about You're Next. I look at this movie as really the precursor of things to come, and a movie that was a little bit ahead of its time. But I look at it as just a really, really, really good movie. And what I love about You're Next is how it feels like the final boss of the 2000s horror movies. And I mean that in the absolute most positive way I can think of it. Like, it's such a well-made movie, but it has that feel. It feels like the bookend on what horror was to what it was becoming. Because after this, we were really starting to get into the Conjuring universe and things like that. And that might have already started a little bit. But I look at You're Next as that movie that exemplified, just the 2000s in a lot of ways. The way it feels, the way it looks, the way it sounds. And there's some really cool stuff about this movie that I think that the future really pulled from this movie. Like, for instance, towards the latter half of You're Next, you start to get a little bit of that 80s synth coming in there. It's not done a lot in the movie. It doesn't happen until the latter part of the movie. But when it does happen, you really you feel it, and it's just like, oh man, this is awesome. Because I remember when I was in the theater seeing this movie, when I heard that 80s kind of bump synthy piece, I was like, yes, it's like the 80s. But it was like a gift at the end of the movie. It wasn't something you heard throughout the movie and all that, so I loved it. Another thing about You're Next that I think is uber important was this marked the return for Barbara Crampton, and I really remember when I went to go see this, I was like, that's the girl from Castle Freak. That's the girl from Reanimator. Because Barbara has aged pretty gracefully. She still looks good, and her face stayed the same. So I remember when we're in the part of the movie in the beginning, like you see her in the car, they pull up to the house, I'm like, is that Barbara? It was amazing. So, and what a movie to bring her back. I mean, she had taken a break from acting. She was raising kids. She had a family. So for her to come back into acting around this point was like, you couldn't have picked a better movie for her to be a part of. The cast of this movie is literally perfect. I wouldn't change anything. I love the story. I won't spoil it, just in the event anybody's here. Our main character is actually, I think she's Australian, her accent, and she's awesome. Like, she's one of those girls, like, this is one of those girls that's got that X factor. The second you see her, you fall in love with her. So that works perfectly. And all of a sudden, everybody's getting together. The whole family's getting together for dinner, and it's a big thing, and all of a sudden, boom, people start dropping in the house. They're being attacked from outside the house. And I think Adam Wingard even said that he was inspired from The Strangers. I kind of think You're Next is a better movie, though. Just a little bit. Like, I love The Strangers, but I think You're Next raises the stakes and does it's just a great twist on that kind of home invasion movie. So really, really, really good movie. So with all that being said, this second set release is really exciting because this is a 4K. So this is what I want to say about this 4K. I think it's very important. My issue with the way You're Next was filmed was always this little thing. It's a handheld shot movie for the most part. I think especially in the interiors of the movie, like when inside of the house, there are some exterior shots that look like they're pretty smooth, but the interiors of the house, it's all handheld camera movements. That was used. It's an effective way for filmmaking. Like, I've seen it done in a number of films. Like one of the films maybe my audience would know is like the Rob Zombie movies, the Halloween movies. Like, in there's a lot of handheld shots, so it's a little bit of a shaky cam to kind of give it that crazy feel. And it works for those movies, and I think it works for this movies. One of my issues with that was I always got the notion of a little bit of motion blur with this movie on home video, especially like DVD or Blu-ray. I always had that feeling. Watching this on 4K is truly a game changer. This may be one of my favorite 4Ks of the year. First off, it looked sensational. I mean, it really looked good, and it's always a hopeful thing when you're watching movies from this era on 4K, because it's like, well, how good can they look? I would put this up there with the category of like the Dawn of the Dead '04, which I loved, which I tell people, please see that 4K of Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead. It looks so good. This movie truly looked great, but what I loved about it was the 4K, I feel, really cleaned up all that motion blur. Like, everything is got this such sharp detail that even with those camera movements in there, I feel like it just plays out perfectly on the movie. It's not distracting whatsoever. That is the biggest uptake I think I can get from this. So, we'll look at the bells and whistles to this release, but this is what I will say. Obviously, this is a 4K release from overseas. This is Second Sight, but as you know, 4K is a completely region-free format, meaning you can take this, play it in any American player, any player around the world, any 4K player around the world. The second thing is all the special features are on the 4K disc as well, and if you're saying to yourself, why do they do that? The reason they do that is so you can enjoy those special features if you're not a region-free person. There are some releases where the movie's on the 4K, then they put a Blu-ray in here, which this does have a Blu-ray, and that Blu-ray has the special features. Well, that means if you want to enjoy everything about the release, you have to have a region-free Blu-ray player. That way you can watch the movie on 4K, and if you want to watch all the special features, you got to put the Blu-ray in your 4K or your region-free Blu-ray player. That's why they put the special features on the 4K, which is brilliant, because I've said this 1,000 times. Second Sight is fighting for customers around the world, especially America. They know that we want their movies, so that's why they're doing this, and we're seeing this from all over, really. I think Arrow's starting to do this. I think Umbrella's all region free, even though technically they're not. I mean, but that's why they're doing all that sort of stuff. So it's a completely region free format. So if you don't want the special version, which I think is available still in like Orbit DVD and things like that, it's a great movie to have on 4K, and it's a great movie in general. So I'll say that. But I like this release. I really like the artwork on that. We got our main star on the front. That looks really, really good. The side just says "You're Next" on it, and the back has those masks. And I like the masks. The masks, the wolf, the sheep, and the what other kind of animal is that? Some kind of fox or something. And all the masks look really good in the movie too, with the high definition. All right, so with these releases, you get these amenities. I'll be honest with you, I can do without these. I really wish they would kind of dump these, but we got those cards. I'll just flip through them so you can see them. Got our roster right there. Really energetic movie. I like this movie so much. I really do. I'm a big Adam Wingard guy. Oh, and did I mention Ty West is in this? It's so weird seeing Ty West in here. All right, so there's our cards. Like I said, I'll be honest with you, I can do without those. What I do love, though, is the books. Obviously, we can't go through everything, but in this book, it's all new information about the film, bios, the making of. So I love that. These books are great. The books I love, because I like to flip through the books while I'm watching the movie. So, Adam Wingard, You're Next in the Rise of the Home Invasion movie. So yeah, really, really cool. And I like the paper's actually got this old vintage look to it, so they went with some pretty cool style on that. So yeah, the books I'm all about. Love the books. And then the only thing I would change about the Second Sight releases for the collector's releases, obviously if you get the standard release, you're going to get a case for it. But they do these, the booklets for the special edition releases. I would prefer the case, which I think everybody kind of does. But you've got your 4K disc, which is in the player right now. And here's your Blu-ray disc as well. You got your character on the front there. So I'm not going to get collector's editions for everything from Second Sight. Really, it's just with the movies I really like. But it's funny because the last couple announcements have been movies I really liked. I don't know if this video has come out because I filmed it a while ago, but I kind of filmed a video about Second Sight and why I think they're doing such a good job. And I showcased Ty West's The Sacrament, which is my favorite Ty West movie. I think it's his best still. I love The Sacrament. And also Gonji and the Haunted Asylum, which is a great found footage movie. I believe that was Japanese. It could have been Korean. I can't remember. I'm sorry. I'm ignorant. But two great releases that they did. So, I mean, how do you beat that? I think Second Sight is the best company, if not Umbrella for this year. But Second Sight does such a great job. It's hard to deny them. So, there it is, guys. The Second Sight release. Like I said, this is a movie I will never watch on Blu-ray again. The 4K not only has such a much better picture quality, but I feel like it got rid of the motion blur. That was like that when the camera's moving, it's day and night to me. I'm super happy with this 4K. So guys, I'm going to give this 2 thumbs up. Oh, let's go look at the special features. What am I saying? We got to go look at the special features on this and let's see what they got. All right, guys. On the extras, we have an audio commentary with Adam Wingard and Simon. We have an audio commentary with Adam, Simon, Sharni, and Barbara, children of the 80s, an interview with Adam and Simon as well. The Most of Us, an interview with producers Keith and Jess. Script is a Blueprint, an interview with actor A.J. Bowen. Down in the Basement, an interview with actor Joe Swanberg. Be Funny and Die, an interview with actor Amy Simetz. Falling into Pieces, an interview with production designer Tom Hammock. Slashers Don't Die, Tim Coleman on You're Next. Who's Next, the making of You're Next. Animated storyboards. Audio, there we go, that's everything. And by the way, the interview with the Adam is like 3 hours long. So there you have it, guys. Now we're done. You're Next, Second Sight Films. Super happy with this, guys. Thanks for watching. This is your old pal CHH. See y'all next time. Huge, giant thank you to all of my Patreon supporters. Without you guys, this would not be possible. To get behind-the-scenes photos, videos, music, private live streams, and much more, you can subscribe to my Patreon for as little as $1 a month. Thank you to my patrons.